Hello everybody and welcome to Felting Fun with Steph and Joe. I'm
Hello.
Steph.
And I'm Joe, funnily enough.
Yeah. It's just as well, otherwise we're on the wrong show.
Not much sense in that.
No, not really. So, we didn't tell everybody what we were going to be talking about today, did we? But we're going to be talking about wool.
We are, indeed. We're going to be talking about the different types of wool, and I suspect that Steph has a lot more to say about this than I do, for reasons that will be explained. All very good. Not just
I'm a hoarder.
And because she's a hoarder. No, nothing to do with that at all. I've just realised, can I just point out how beautifully my Buddha matches my apron?
Oh, yes.
Not intentional at all, but
Of course it is. You're always colour matched with your accessories.
just point that out there.
Yeah, lovely. Very nice. Very nice. We're always very colourful. I always love all your wool, which when we pan back, I've got lots of wool around me, but not quite as colourful as yours. But yeah.
Yes, and we do have actually, we obviously have more colours than you see. I'm pointing in the wrong direction again, but more there. But I like to have all the colourful stuff behind me. It makes me feel
nice. Happy. Yeah, exactly. Surrounded by colour. I love it. So, should we start off with freebie?
Yeah, go on then. You do yours first.
Okay, so it's a big weekend. It's launch weekend. Woo! For not one, not two, but three. I'm going to make sure we get them in so we can see them. But these are the little fellas.
So exciting.
Whoa! So
these are brilliant, and I've seen these in the flesh, and they're
yeah. Let me make sure I've got these. So Orpheus, Harriet, and Gerald. Bless.
Love it.
All made from, well, we call them alternative fibres because felting is really traditionally wool, but it's actually using non-wool fibres to actually, well, I'm calling it fibre sculpture kits for that reason, just because I thought, is it strictly felting is wool? I think.
Well, I think it probably was when people started needle felting. It was always wool, and then we discovered that actually things like polyester fibre felts really nicely as well.
Yeah.
But what you've used there is all sort of sustainable fibres, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's the recycled plastic bottles fibres as the core, and then bio nylon and bamboo fibres, which are glorious in their colours and everything.
Colours are so vibrant, aren't they?
Beautiful, just absolutely love them. So I am going to give away one of each of these. Not one, not two, but 3 prizes. Oh my god. So what you have to do is like this video, subscribe to the channel and comment. And if you've already subscribed, then like and comment, and then you'll be put into the mix, and we do our magic thing, usually 7 days afterwards, sometimes slightly longer.
Depends who's on holiday, to be fair.
But just means it gives you more chances of winning. But basically, I will be putting those into the mix. So, and say launch weekend, they're all going on my Tootique.co.uk, which is kind of behind me almost, if I get out of the way, website. And there is going to be a launch offer to buy all 3 as well. Because I will just tell you, £14, £18 and £20, but the difference with these kits, different to Joe's kits, is I don't include the needles or the pads, but I have got a special starter pack if somebody wants those as extra. So just thought I'd throw that in, but it all explains it all. I won't go on anymore. We're going to pass it over to you, Joe.
I just have one question to ask about your giveaway. Are you giving one kit away to 3 different people, or is one person lucky and win?
So 3 different prizes. So 3 chances of winning.
Yes, fantastic. That's brilliant prizes. And good luck with the launch. I'm sure they'll be.
Yeah, thank you.
So my giveaway this week is this month's club box. So if you are a Crafty Kit Club subscriber, you will know that this month was all about the peacocks. And every month we also produce what we call a treat box, which is, it means that you can buy a one-off box as a treat or to give as a gift to somebody, and you don't need to sign up and become a member of the club if you don't want to. So great. Our prize this week is the treat box, which contains everything you need to make the peacock and all of the other treats and bits and pieces that you get in our monthly boxes. So as Stephanie said, like, subscribe and comment. Those three things. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Beautiful. Love that peacock.
Thank you.
I think people spied you while you were creating it, didn't they? It was like, ooh, what do I spy in your bag there? You were going somewhere carrying a bag. Or, oh, is that a peacock?
The story behind that was I was on my way to a trade show, and I usually take something to do because I like to fill my time. Not that I had a lot of time to fill, but if I'm on a trade stand, I like to be working on something because people are always interested to find out how needle felting actually works. And I was so busy taking a photograph of the basket with all the bits and pieces in it that I left for the trade show and forgot the basket. So it was left lying on the floor of the office, which was really annoying.
Oh, I love it. After all the fuss.
I know. After me so smart. Served me right.
Love it.
So,
love it.
I'm going to talk about the fibres that we use in our kits at the Crafty Kit Company.
Okay.
And I'll hop over to the overhead in a second, but I was just going to talk a little bit about the fact that we really only, not totally exclusively, but we really mainly use Corriedale wool for our kits, and there's a couple of reasons for that. So the Corriedale, as a breed of sheep, to give you a little bit of the background and the history of the sheep breed.
Well, people don't always realise that it's named after the sheep, do they? So, number one.
Exactly. So, Corriedale, it's actually quite an old breed of sheep, and it originated in New Zealand in the 1860s, and the Corriedale was a result of a cross breed, which people didn't think would work. And took quite a long time for the original breeder to convince people that this would work, because it was a cross between a long-haired sheep, if you like, and a merino, which is very soft silk fibre. So two quite different fibres crossing, and the result was that you get this beautiful felting fibre, this wool that is easy to felt because it's quite crinkly, but it has the sheen and the softness of merino.
Soft. Yeah.
So it's got this kind of perfect combination, if you like. Now,
best of all worlds, isn't it?
Exactly. And it does come from New Zealand, but the Corriedale sheep can also be found America, including South America, the Falkland Islands, and I think Australia as well. But unfortunately for us, not so much in Britain. So I feel that when we get fed up on creating things, Stephanie, we should open our own sheep farm.
Yes. Oh yeah. Don't give me ideas.
Potentially, when you move house, you might have the space to do that.
Indeed.
You might well do. So I will just hop over to my overhead and just show you a few bits and pieces. Excuse the creaking of the chair.
If anybody sees me wandering in and out of shot, it's I'm being distracted by a wasp. Excuse me.
Just carry on. It's still on the go.
Oh dear. Yeah. So I'm just sort of every now and then checking where it is. Anyway, sorry.
Oh dear. So yes, the long wool ram and the merino ewe crossed many years ago to produce this Corriedale, and this is really the wool that is so familiar to most of our kit makers. It comes on what's called a sliver, which is basically a name for a long bundle of fibres. And we use slivers in our kits because that is the easiest way for us to measure the amount of wool that goes into each kit. And if anybody's ever wondered how we do that, we wrap it around our hand and then we weigh it. So for the smaller amounts, we can tell that's probably about 5 or 6 grams. For the larger amounts, we wrap it around our hand. We know how many times round the hand it goes, and then we weigh it just to make sure. And of course, it depends on the size of your hands as well. Yeah. But the nice thing about the Corriedale, especially for beginner felters, is it's got nice short fibres. So I could have chosen a darker colour, but you can see when I pull that apart.
You can see it. Yeah, you can see it.
Yeah. The fibres are nice and short, and they have quite a well-defined crimp, which basically means the kind of crinkliness of the fibre. So the felt's really nice and easily.
So nice and easy. And I like using slithers as well because it's really nice for wrapping.
Yes, exactly. There's a lot of advantages of using a sliver. The other way that you might find that Corriedale wool comes, don't you love this colour? Is as a it's gorgeous, isn't it? So it comes as a bat, and a bat is really just another name for a flat sheet. And bats are good too, but they're not quite as easy for us to weigh and measure. So I've got quite a lot of bats that I use for my own felting, but they don't go into the kits. We do have a few kits that have got merino in them. I'm just thinking of Poppy and Daisy mice. Their skirts are merino wool, and you can see here, easy to see how long the fibres are compared to the Corriedale. So much longer fibres, not quite as easy for us to work with in terms of weighing and measuring, because it's not easy to pull this apart. You really have to grab it by both ends and just pull gently. And then it just makes it a little bit more difficult for us to get accuracy in terms of the weights. So that's one of the reasons why we don't use merino so much, but I do love it. Another reason why merino isn't so good for our beginner felters is it tends to leave quite visible holes when you're felting. And of course there's lots that you can do about that, but it's a little bit off-putting if you're a beginner and you're wondering why your work looks all holy.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with that is a lovely merino that you have, and I've used that merino too. But you can also get fully merinos, which sort of looks more like carded. That's the word I'm thinking of. Yeah. So it's a bit more crisscross. That's easier to felt, but you will still, as you say, get the marks because it's such a soft. It's so lovely fibre, it's really gorgeous.
Beautiful. And actually, when you think of merino wool in terms of yarn for knitting, it's always one of the most expensive. And it is a beautiful fibre, but it's just, for us, it's not quite as appealing.
I think lots of people are also put off it because someone said to me only this week, oh gosh, not merino. And I said, yeah, but not all merino is equal, because I remember myself, the first kit I got, and there were these little things of merino, but they were very, very fine. Yes. And definitely in strands, and I was stabbing for ages thinking, why won't it felt? And of course, like so many other people, you think once you find Corriedale and other stuff, you think I'm never going back to merino. But of course, and there is a reason to go back. But,
and there is a time and a place for using it. But unfortunately, a lot of people's first experience of needle felting is with shall we say a less expensive kit that they might have purchased on Amazon, and
a little trial.
They're mostly made in China, and they do contain what feels like beautiful fibres, but it's just very difficult to work with. So don't be put off with that in your experience so far. I just wanted to show you how beautiful. Now this is a blend of merinos, and how gorgeous it can look once the colours are blended together. So this is called Once Upon a Time, and you can see it also has a few sparkly fibres in there as well.
Gorgeous.
And this one, some people will recognise as our custom blend, Foxy blend.
Fox, I thought so.
Yeah, exactly. So we have this blended especially for us, and it's a combination, as you can see, of all of these different colours, but blending it together just produces this gorgeous.
I love that.
Yeah. And the last thing I wanted to show you was the curly locks. So these have recently been added to our website, and I love them actually. I just love the kind of the variety. There's quite a lot of vegetation, I have to say, in the locks. They're not they're not as processed as the other fibres that we're using. So just be aware that when you're working with them, you will get some little bits of grass and things coming out of there. But if you're
Because
wondering
they
what
haven't
you can
been
use...
pulled out, isn't it? Because they won't have pulled them out because they want to keep the locks in. So
Exactly. So as soon as you start sort of pulling out all the bits and pieces, you lose all the beautiful kind of curliness.
Yeah.
I like when you find a really good curly... It's just so satisfying. So curly locks are great for all sorts of things, including underwater scenes. And I'll just give you a quick sneak peek of this one that I'm working on. It's just about finished. I just need to put it in the hoop. But you can see how I've used the curly locks on here, and really you don't need to do anything with them other than just pick the bits that you want and just stab them into place, and there you have some ferns.
Fabulous.
So there we go. That's my bit set. So I'll just
right. Here we go. Back again.
Back. We'll find out all about Stephanie's wool.
There we go. Right. So as you can see, I'm surrounded. I thought, right, I'm going to bring as much as I can around me to show, because actually Jo knows she's been in this den of mine, and it's just a wall of wool. Oh my God. It's just and it's because every wool show I ever go to, I go, grab a bit of that, wonder what that's like, grab a bit of that, wonder what that's like, and then you just end up with masses of it. So I thought it was probably as well for me to just go through some of those and explain what I would find that useful for, because I know there are lots of wool shows coming up and everyone's going to be going, and you just think you can actually buy things in small bits. You don't have to buy masses of them. And it's just really good to say, well, take a little bit here, little bit there, all the different needles, and have a play with it, because it's quite good fun. But okay, where am I going to start off? Actually, I will just start off with the following on from your Corriedale, because I love Corriedale as well, and it felts really well. But you can also you will probably hear, carded bats, carded slithers, and also tops or top. In America, top and tops mean two different things. I think over here it just means the same thing, which it means they've been combed. If you watched the tools one and I showed you my really lethal looking combs, it's things which have been through that process. This is Corriedale, and I haven't got it on the overhead, so I'm just going to show you here. This is Corriedale, which has been through that process. So it's actually made it longer. But it's still crimpy. So it's still really lovely to felt with. And even if you wanted to do the sort of fur look, it would felt by itself, because quite often when I'm using fibres like alpaca, I would actually place it on something and then I would use some wool to felt it in the middle and bring it up. But with Corriedale you don't need that, because it's still got its crimpiness. But yeah, so you can still get Corriedale which has been elongated but it's still marvellous, but not quite as silky. Woo! She says, throwing things around. Okay, so let me go to combinations. So it may be better if I do go to, actually my overhead's gone off, so I should just carry on. This is, can you see the little bits in that, or should I zoom in a bit?
Zoom in.
I shall zoom in a bit. Oh no, I'm zooming in on you. That's really useful, isn't it?
Oh, don't do that.
Oh. Here we go. If I zoom in a bit here. This is actually merino with silk through it. And you can probably just about see the different... And it's beautiful. And I would use this for, long hair. I used to repair rocking horses, and I used to use it for rocking horse mane and things like that, but it's still just as beautiful on dogs or even sheep, if you're doing a sheep, to give it that gorgeous. But once again, because it's merino and silk, which, if we remember, when I had my little... By the way, did you get your friend to put a microscope on the...
Oh, I haven't actually. You just reminded me, because she said that she would do it, but at the time she had... I think she was thinking that she had COVID. She didn't want me to put anything by her door.
No, fair enough. But we were sharing about, everything under a microscope. And in fact, Boom, boom, bum. Yeah, so we've got silk, which is in the middle there, which is pretty much just some nice little floaty with no scales on it at all. So it needs to be attached to something like merino, and then I would still use what I call a staple, which is of Corriedale or something like that across it to actually felt it in place.
And can I ask, because the fibres are so long, when you are needing just a small piece, are you just pulling it gently from the main, because you don't want to cut these fibres? Yeah.
So if I have to cut them, I'll chop it down the middle, I'll bring it back together, and then I'll do that again so that I don't get a hard edge, and then it's, you know, good to go. But yeah, because they're very long and you need to be doing something large to really need something that long. But also, when I do things like dogs or sheep or anything like that, I would often put it on way too long and then snip it anyway when it's in place. So whilst it looks ridiculous when you put it on, it gives you the ability to cut it down gradually, because I do it bit by bit myself. Occasionally I get it right first time, but not always.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea actually. So you give it a bit of a trim once it's on.
Yeah, once it's in. So that's now one other fibre which I haven't really used that much, if at all, is camel down.
Oh wow, okay.
It's as soft. It's as soft as a soft thing. It's absolutely gorgeous. Now it's quite crimpy actually. So, but I think because it's so soft, I have used it, but it's disappeared really quickly into the piece. So I think I'd need to. Yeah, but softer. It's softer. Wow. Alpaca, which I have got here as well, is quite. It's soft, but it's definitely straighter and longer. Whereas this is it's the down of the camel rather than even the. We went to Cotswold Wildlife Park with our godson, and there was camels, and Steve was going, "Are you going to get over the fence?" And I was like, I think probably not. But they are all incredibly soft. As I say, you see that under the microscope that we showed before, and alpaca does have a bit of a scale, but just not that much, and I suspect it'll be exactly the same for the but you can use them all. But this, when I felted it in, because I didn't have a really hard felted piece, it disappeared really quickly. Whereas if you use the felt balls, which are really solid, and felt onto that, it will stay on top. So I think the moral of that story is, if you're going to use it, make sure you really felted the piece hard, otherwise it will just, because it's so light, you see, it'll just disappear in. Or use it as fur. But horses for courses and all that. So alpaca comes in many different, and when you go to the wonderful wool fairs, people do things like they name. I've actually got things like this is the alpaca fur from Jessie, you know, and this is because they named their and it's just absolutely, I love it, and I still have them in their little bags, you know, telling me who it was. I'm just looking around here at the moment because I've merino. I have. So what I wanted to show with merino as well is this one is the Superfine Marina, and this is the one that will take forever to felt, and it's very just silky, isn't it? Beautiful to do as a fur on something, but to make your piece out of it. But at the same time, I've got some carded merino here, which is, and so that's actually much easier to work with. But and also, guys, I use these to put my wool in, which is, you know, is it this time of year, your cool latte or whatever? That's what it is. Yes, of course. And whenever I go to shows and people come and visit me, it's the biggest thing they take away. They go, "Oh my god, I must go and use those." And when you do for these smaller amounts of wool, and and when you're doing something, Joe, and you want to take something out of your stash and put it on your, I mean, I am woman who has wool everywhere, but if you you know, if you want to be neater. Like when I'm at a show, and I pretend I'm much more together when I'm at a show. Then I put them in things like this and go, aren't I clever, you know? But
it looks so good as well, because you can see exactly what's in there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I actually do have trays and trays of them around, but right, now. De-haired llama.
De-haired?
Yeah. I think that just means they're still alive, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I think it's a really stupid way of just saying, because obviously sheep are sheared, aren't they?
Yes.
And the hair, and I think it's just to prove a point. Yeah, they call it that. But anyway, it's llama. But
it's llama. Yeah. I've never felted with llama before.
And that feels very much like alpaca.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. Very much like alpaca.
Yes.
But that's black. I mean, that's, and it's top, so it's been combed, but that is very black. I'd be amazed if that hadn't been dyed, but it doesn't say it's, because normally natural black is quite a brown, isn't it?
Yeah, you never get anything that's sort of pure jet black, do you? Really?
No. But you can see how black that is. But that's amazing if it isn't, because that is black.
And actually, I forgot to say, the Corriedale in its sort of natural state comes in all different shades, from very pale to very dark brown, which a lot of people don't expect. They think it's just white and then dyed colour. Yeah. Yeah.
In fact, if I come back here a minute, if you see all these are all natural colours of the chick. These aren't dyed at all. And I have actually got some Corriedale in there as well. But the brown there is the Mooret. And we've got Mooret with Shetland, and I personally love Gotland as well. But also, you with your little curly bits. What's this? Mm-hmm. This is Jacob.
Oh yeah.
Look at those, the little curly bits.
Brilliant.
With the little tips. Now sometimes that's really nice to make a hedgehog with.
Oh yes, yeah.
So,
with all of your wildlife creations, all of these natural colours and these undyed yarns or fibres are perfect for you.
When I did my elephant, I just mixed all these wonderful ones together, and of course, because you're mixing things like Corriedale in with something which is like alpaca or something, which it's fine because they're all mixed in, and so they do their job, which is marvellous. Let me have a look here. I'm like a kid in a sweet shop. I was the first time I got them all out earlier for the show, and I was thinking, I've forgotten about that. So this is coloured Mule, which I believe is where they have bred 2 sheep, which now can no longer produce. Is that right?
Okay.
It's like, but it's
yeah.
Once again, a bit curly whirly.
Well,
it's quite tough, actually. It's quite tough, so it felt pretty well. But I think the idea, I got it because at one point I was quite obsessed with the curls, to be honest. I've got trays of coloured curls down here. I bought, what did I buy? The goat. What's the goat? Oh, it'll come to me. Anyway. But it had lots of curls, and I dyed them all, and I've got masses of them in little trays. Oh, really? That little plastic thing is full of little coloured curls. So, yeah. So if ever you need
yours.
I know. Well, when we move.
I know.
When we move, yeah, absolutely. Oh, Gotland. Okay, so in my obsession for curls, these are glorious.
Oh, yes.
Aren't they? Just
lovely.
Gotland. In fact, there was a lady who came and saw me at the Bloom show recently, who is a felter, and she has Gotland sheep, and she loves them. And I was like, in fact, so they smell lovely because someone's actually washed them in a really nice.
Well, it was just reminding me of my weekend just past.
Oh.
So a quick question, you'll be able to help with this. So I was in Orkney at the weekend, staying with my mum, who was also there. She doesn't live there, but she'd been there for a few days, and I went up and had 3 lovely days with her. I'm completely in love with Orkney. I could almost live there, but it's a little bit too remote. But I absolutely love it. And I found myself on one of the days when Mum and I were walking through some fields, just randomly picking up bits of sheep's fleece off the ground. Which is, I mean, it's a bit ridiculous because look, you know, I've got...
I know, do it all the time, yeah.
I've got, you know, bags, and we've got kilos and kilos and kilos of washed, carded, dyed, beautiful smelling, you know, fibres for working with. But I just kind of felt like I wanted to take a bit of Orkney home.
No.
And so I got quite a lot. And it's not too dirty. Obviously, there's some dirty bits in it, but it's lovely because it's all different colours. But I want to use it, so I'm going to wash it. I'm just going to wash it in some sort of soapy water, but I need to be really careful not to felt it as I'm washing it.
Yeah.
Because I think if you start rubbing it when you're washing it. So have you done that before, Steph? With raw?
Yeah. So absolutely. I mean, basically, if there's any poo on there, get that off, because otherwise it's But basically, you have a hot bath of soapy, and I always use like a hand wash. Because it's and you put it in and you just push it up and down, and so the first one is you're just getting the majority off. You leave it, and you leave it to cool down, because it's when it's hot and soapy and you start doing that to it, that's when it's going to felt. That's wet felting, basically, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so then you have another bath ready, and so you lift it out of that, let it drip down, and then start putting it into the next. So basically you keep doing that until it's down, and eventually it'll be down to a level where you can actually give it a bit of a wash in cooler water. Once it's cool, I do swish it a bit, you know, with the but it's just making sure you're not giving it a good old squeeze when it's really, really soapy and really, really hot. But
it's the agitation, isn't it, that starts to melt it. So I have no idea what I'm going to do with it, and there's not enough to create a big thing, but it might be quite nice, you know, on a picture, like a picture, something like that.
The background, I think. You could even do a little picture of Orkney, couldn't you? It's like...
Well, that was kind of where I was going with that. Yeah. Beautiful. So beautiful. Anyway, I digress there. I've no idea what wool it is either. It's just
it's just wool. I know. Well, I know that when where was it? We were up in Yorkshire, and it was the Herdwick sheep that they had up there, and and everywhere you go, you fall in love with that particular sheep, don't you? But the Herdwick is quite roughy tufty. I mean, it's this. I think you can probably even see how textured that is, and
yes.
It's got some rough and smooth bits in it, because it's a very hardy sheep. It lives out up on the hills and everything. So you think, well, I can understand that, but that's a fabulous grey colour. And if you were doing something which needed more of a dog, which needs quite a rough, then it's perfect, absolutely perfect for that. But I love a lot of the Icelandic ones and everything. That's yak.
Yes. And the yak.
I'll pick up everything.
Because we all need some yak wool in our lives.
Who knows when the need arises, but when it does, I've got some. It's hilarious, absolutely hilarious. So this is the Shetland Mooret. It's beautiful.
Yes.
That is, lovely. And it's such a beautiful colour for her hair. Mix a little bit of grey in with that for her hair.
Gorgeous.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. But there are masses of them, but my advice with it is as we always say with everything, there's no right nor wrong, but it is go to one of the wool shows and pick up clumps of it, because they sell them in little bags of everything. I keep all my labels on them all, because you're gonna forget, so I keep all my labels on everything, so that when I get it out, I know what it is that I'm using, or if I need some more of it, I know what I need to go and get. But go to a wool show, pick up a bit of everything and play with it. Yeah.
So I've got that actually leads me on to a shameless plug.
Fantastic.
And the timing is just right for this, because I am on the 23rd of May. at 9 a.m. we will be opening bookings for our very first ever needle felting retreat. And it's going to be held in Harrogate over 3 days, or 2 days, three nights. Yeah. Anyway, three nights over the weekend in September, and it's taking in one full day at the Yarndale Creative Festival.
Fantastic.
So, yes,
fantastic.
So there'll be lots of different fibres to be had at that.
A perfect place to go to. I've never been to that particular one, but I know lots of people have, and it's fabulous. But I'm very, very sad to say I can't come on that weekend because I've got a show that weekend at the other end of the country.
Wow. Very sad.
I saw the date. I went, no.
So did I. We will be, if it's successful, we'll be organising another one for spring.
Fantastic.
So we'll make sure we tie in.
I can sort of imagine that quite soon, maybe next year, there could be a Crafty kit company thing in Wales. Just saying.
Oh, absolutely.
Can see that in our future.
Wonder if people mind us just chatting.
No, don't think so.
To each other.
Well, actually, the comments we get is that people go, "I love you two chatting on." I thought it was just as well.
Oh, just as well.
But no, I love the idea of that retreat, and saying it's not just doing, not lessons, instructions, workshops and things, but to go to with other fellow people who are just obsessed with the same stuff as you are. It's great.
I'm super excited about it. The whole thing, everything from Yarndale to the workshops to the food to the guest house that we're staying in, which I know very well. And really the highlight for me will be meeting some people actually face to face at last.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Lovely.
So, good.
Yeah, brilliant. So everybody needs to make sure they're in your world for the 23rd of May. Is it
23rd of May, 9 a.m. Keep an eye
Launching.
on the website. We'll be releasing details of how you book at 9 o'clock. We'll
Fantastic.
Yes.
Excellent. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Woo. Okay. Well, one last plug for me and my launch of my kits is that today, being Saturday, at 2 o'clock, my partner Steve and I are going to be going live on YouTube, telling you all about the kits on Tootique TV.
Brilliant. Tootique TV. I absolutely love it.
Why not?
Great. All right. Best
Okay.
of luck with that. It'd be fantastic.
Oh, okay. So, we've gone over our allotted time. Well, we've got an allotted time, but you know what I mean. So, I guess we better say, once again, we have no idea what we're doing next time, but we'll no doubt, let you know before then. But other than that, it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from Stephanie and me. I'm just concentrating on the two Ronnies there, and I could just...
Yes, I know. I got myself a bit confused as well. It's like... good, no, I can't remember. Good night from her, and it's good... Oh, whatever. Bye, everybody. See you next time.
Bye-bye.